Hi guys, so I am back as I said I would be with another video today. This is two videos back to back in one day, you guys. A very sensitive but important topic. This topic is slightly different than the first one I did today on acceptance by the black family in cuckold relationships. Someone had emailed me wanting to know how does the black family receive the whole idea of cuckold. So I talked about that for about an hour, and now I'm coming back with a different video. It's not even a part two. It's a different video related to penis size, but it does seem like a series because I've talked about this topic before. It has come up. And sometimes I get your email questions and I'm like, I could have sworn I addressed this. And this person says he watches my videos, he follows me, he likes my videos. So I'm going to read you guys the email that I received. And I'm just like, if you saw my video, then you would know that I addressed this. But I guess perhaps he wants to share his own personal story. So let's go for it. Oh, you know what? Sorry, guys. I should have prepped. But I did not prep. I never prep, right? I mean, when I mean by prep, I mean like pulling up his comment, because his comment was left on one of my videos, actually. Or two of my videos. Let's see, can I find it? Ugh. Oh, I'm ready to love you forever, forever. I was jamming in here. Just jamming to some Tevin Campbell. Alright, where's this video he commented on? I think it was this one. He commented on two different videos. I'm going to see, can I find his comment? There we go. That's one. And then there's another. Yo, he left some really long comments. I'm like, yo, seriously? But let me see. Can I find it? The other one was on, I think, the Size Matter video. Let me see. Can I find that? Just search. Sort by recent. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so I found it pretty easy. Alright, can you guys see me? Should I sit? You can see me. You can see me. Alright, so I'm going to read his comment. Now, his comment is relatively lengthy. I'm like, yo, they be having a lot to say, but I'm going to read it. And I titled this video, you know, Hope for Men with Small Penis Size. Because that's what his question is in relation to. That's what his issue apparently is, right? How many men can relate? I guess those who can relate probably wouldn't come forward with it, you know, for obvious reasons. Maybe they're ashamed to admit, you know. So, he says, I want to make a comment about something I realized about myself long time ago. Hope you're going to read this. Oh, you know I'm going to read it. I read comments as long as they're, like, respectful towards me. Because sometimes, yo, people be so inconsiderate, disrespectful, and inappropriate. So I think it's a way to say things, right? It's different ways to say the same thing in a respectful, appropriate way. And sometimes people are just very vulgar and just inconsiderate and messy with it. So I don't like to address those types of comments. But yeah, as long as you keep it 100, you keep it respectful, like, yeah, why not? So he says, men's confidence and self-esteem has a lot to do with his masculine traits that are desirable to women. I said this also before. He says, the less masculine traits, the lower confidence and self-esteem. But what I find interesting is how, like, people just have, I think they have like reduced the meaning of masculinity just down to penis size, and it takes more than that. A man can be very well endowed, but I don't really make him dominant just because he's well endowed. I've come across a lot of well endowed men, yo. That don't mean they're dominant, or even masculine for that matter, you know, or alpha at all. In fact, they may be the complete opposite. Today, women have higher standards and they find less men to be desirable. If you look at a Tinder data, basically 8% men cannot get a match, let alone a date. Really? Now, I've heard a similar statistic related to, is it black women, I think it was, a demographic, with black women having difficulty finding a partner on these dating sites. And I can admit, and I think for me, I know what it is. Like, I'm very picky. It's not that I don't have a shitload of inbox messages, yo. Because I can do a whole separate video with just scrolling through where you guys can see, like, all the messages I receive. And some I do respond to on the dating site, but it just doesn't capture me. And I meet men in person too, which I've shared some stories about men that I've met here in person, just in passing, like walking through Harlem or Brooklyn. But it just has, like, you gotta capture me, yo. And sometimes they do, as I sit and talk to them. But then it's something that comes up where I just get turned the fuck off. Like, I gave an example about the Puerto Rican guy I dated, how I got turned off. I'm not about to rehash that here in this video, but it's just things like that, yeah, it's like, I know this ain't gonna work. And I saw a meme that said how when women get to a certain age, it don't take us long to really know, like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work. Nah. Like, we pick up very quickly. So it could just be just not having tolerance a lot of times for men, but interesting statistic that men have a really difficult time. And I can see how that can be true, because even men, like, I've come across on dating sites, they have actually verbalized to me, which I find also as a turnoff. I don't think men get, like, what turns women off, but that's a turnoff for a man to be coming to me on a dating site complaining about his piss poor experiences on a dating site. I don't give a, honestly, I really don't care, right? All I care about is me and, like, us. Like, if we're gonna hit it off, like, what the fuck you went through in your past. I really don't care about that necessarily. And I really don't care to share my personal experiences of dating with a guy, like, I'm potentially interested in. So I just think that that's kind of like an off-base thing. But yeah, men have come forward and said, like, dang, like, it's hard, you know, finding a woman on here. And, you know, it's a whole bunch of, like, women just wanting men to go to a website that they put their debit card in and spend money on them. And I'm just like, well, maybe, like, if you keep coming across women like that, and apparently this ain't that. But then if you come across a real woman like me, it's like, instead of them focusing on, like, what they do have in front of them, they still stuck on, like, oh, like, all these women on here just complaining and talking about that. It's just like, that to me is a turn off. So I lose interest and I just, like, stop responding to them. Yes, I think sometimes men, like, y'all claim to be, like, logical creatures, but how logical are you? Okay, excuse me for, like, going on a tangent, but I had to say that. All right, so he says top 20% of men get most women, or should I say that most women aim to top 20% men. Top 20% men who are what? He says, I realize that I am a beta male and I am not a submissive man that wants to be cuckolded or to submit to a woman. My sexual expression is through porn. So he admits that he's a beta male, although he is not submissive. Interesting. He doesn't want to be cuckolded. So what makes you a beta male? Your smaller penis size? Like, ladies or gentlemen, can a person's smaller penis size make them a beta male? Because I think there is this narrative, there's this notion that men who have larger penis sizes, who are well endowed, that makes them alpha because it attracts a lot of women. But your penis size is not what attracts a woman. your penis size could be partially what can keep a woman, right? Make a woman stay with you or keep coming back or keep having sex with you because she enjoys the way you make her feel in the bedroom. But that's not going to attract a woman, right? So we got to get out of this, like, thinking, like, there's this whole narrative going around that, oh, men with bigger penises attract most women. I mean, of course, women talk, so if the word has gotten around, like, oh, he got a big dick, then yeah, that could attract women. But I mean, come on, y'all. Is that really happening like that, you know? Is it really going down like that? Right? It's more to it. Because to say that, oh, that's just what attracts women is a man with a large penis, that's kind of trying to say, like, women are vain. The vanity of the idea of just a woman being wowed by a man just because he has a big dick. I mean, it takes more than that. Come on. So he says that his sexual expression is through porn. Porn sexuality is a term. And here is the thing. I got shaped by the life experiences. My lack of desirable traits made me invisible to women. Something high number of men are facing today, and slowly through time I pursue women less and less and replace it fully with porn and virtual sexuality. Because he's basically saying that he's having a difficult time getting a woman in person because he feels that he's less desirable. And that's the thing, it's like, do you feel that you're less desirable, or do people, because they're saying that people see them as less desirable, so perhaps he's internalized that for him to also see himself that way as less desirable based on what he sees on TV. And people get caught up, social media can be the fucking devil. It can be a good thing, right, to help keep us connected, right? Because y'all wouldn't know me if it wasn't for fucking YouTube, right, or Facebook, perhaps. But it can be a bad thing in a sense that people get caught up in those comparisons, and you're scrolling through your timeline and you like seeing men who are attractive by social standards, and they have a lot of likes and more interaction, and women are commenting, and you compare it to yourself and look in the mirror and you're like, I'm not that, I'm not his height, I'm not his complexion. But you don't know what size his penis is, though. So how can you even compare your penis size to, you don't know. Just because a man has a decent penis size, so to speak, doesn't mean that it functions well, right? A lot of men got some erectile dysfunction disorder going on because of many different reasons. Age, they don't take care of their bodies. They don't put the right food in their bodies, right? So that can negatively impact, how their arousal and if they're able to sustain an erection through completion. If they drink a lot of men consume toxic substances that aren't good for their body. Stress can play a major role. And just them being super excited. Like, some men get overly excited when they get in front of some freaking vagina and they pre-cum. They what do you call it? Premature ejaculate. That's what it's called. They ejaculate prematurely, and that's it for them. So it ain't always about the penis size. I think sometimes people put too much stock in that, right? This whole term with big dick energy. I get it. Yeah, that's something that women like. What wouldn't a woman like? The big dick energy, as long as it's followed up with. And it's not so much, oh, big dick. I made a video about, why does penis size matter so much? And I think I did disclose, like, what would be my preference. And it's not so much, oh, it has to be 10 inches long. Like, sometimes that can be too much. That's too much fucking meat, 10 inches? That's too much. Alright. Let me keep going. Further, I tried to build my self-esteem because I have never had confidence around women. But through all my work on myself, I realized that my small package in my pants played a very important role for my lack of confidence. it just made me a beta male. See, that's what I'm saying. He's saying that the size of his penis is what makes him a beta male, yo. Like, I mean, maybe I'm just trying to, like, stroke his ego because, yo, as I read through this freaking comment, I feel really bad for him, honestly. I feel bad, you know, because he was very transparent. He was very vulnerable in his expression of his experience, his reality, and how it affects him on an emotional, psychological level. So yeah, of course, I'm a human being. I felt bad for him, right? It's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up because yes, we live in a society that has these social norms, ways of being within society, and sometimes those ways of being or thinking negatively impacts us on an individual level. Right, so when we see like distress within individual people and people, sometimes, yeah, I mean, of course we are responsible for ourselves, our health, our well-being, but sometimes our well-being, a big portion of it is reflection or heavily influenced by what's happening around us in our environment, in our society, the messages that are being put into our mind that we allow, though, because I'm more of the belief or the persuasion that yes, we live in a society that shapes our behavior, but I'm not of the belief that, oh, you're a victim or you're so much a product of your environment. You can be a product of your environment, but you can also influence your environment. And I believe it's also, you know, what you allow within your environment. Now, growing up, okay, you may have less control over your environment. But as you get older, you have more control. So you have control over what you allow to come into your psyche and your subconscious mind. So people like to point the fingers at, oh, the media. The media get blamed for a lot, right, of what's happening in us as people. The media has all these negative images and they promote all these negative messages about what beauty looks like. But it's just like, it's what you as a person choose to adhere to take in. You don't have to accept that as what beauty is. I mean, just think for African American women. How does the media portray what beauty is in front of our faces as African American women? It's European, it's the slim nose, it's, you know, being slim. Even I remember back in the day, it was about being slim. Now it's about being voluptuous and having curves, right? And having lighter complexion and blonde hair. And, you know, if you don't really know who you are as a person and, like, your self-worth, knowing that your self-worth is really independent of what other people really think about you. It's what you really think about yourself, how you value yourself. Society can say, oh, well, we're putting this on a pedestal. This is what's important. This is what's highly valued. The European white woman, right? But how should that take that much of a toll on how you see yourself? Should you not be able to tap into who you are as a black woman? I'm giving an example. As a black woman, to embrace your own natural beauty. I will be damned if I sit up here and believe that I am not beautiful. When I look at myself in the mirror and I know, like, yo, I know what beauty is. Despite all of the messages that are out there that are saying that, no, this is what beauty is. Beauty is this. No, beauty comes in many different shades, different forms. Happy Sunday, Diedrich. Thank you. I appreciate the blessings. So it's just like, it's yes, society plays a major role. Don't get me mistaken. I understand the role that our socialization process plays in developing our personalities, our concepts of ourselves, you know, and it can have a major impact on our psychology, right? Our emotional well-being. But it's like only if you let it. It only has but so much effect, right? So much power, as much power as you allow it to. And once you come to an awareness of, okay, this is what's happening in your external world, then you can begin to control that. I don't fucking have cable. I do have Wi-Fi because I work from home. You know, so I get to choose what videos I want to watch. I choose what comes into my psyche, right? So relating it back to this guy's experience, and yes, it is true that there are social problems that exist that impact us on a psychological, individual level. Just like homosexuality, people's disdain for homosexuality, that can create dysphoria within homosexual people. Absolutely. Racism is another social problem, right? Where you have this thing about white supremacy, and one group of people esteeming themselves to be better than another group of people, and treating them a certain way, denying them resources, right? Denying them access to resources, and making it difficult for them to gain access to certain resources just based on their skin, their race, their ethnic background. That's a social problem, right? So it's not to deny that it exists and that it does have an impact. And what we're talking about here is a social problem, could be a problem, or is it just a reality that there are a group of people who prefer larger penis size. And if you're born, you don't have control really so much over the size of your penis, right? So it's something that's more innate and biological, and you're born with it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know there's all kind of shit out there that says, oh, it's male penis enhancement and all this, so you can grow your size of your penis. But from what I understand, I don't think you can do that safely necessarily or naturally. And so you born with the size that you got. You got what you got, right? And then society has this perception of what a good size penis is, and you don't have that, and then you internalize this belief that, okay, you're not masculine because you don't have that. And it's just, I feel like part of it could be what you've seen in the media, maybe what you've experienced on a personal level in relating to women. But part of that is you too, bruh. Like, nah, you don't get off on this. You don't get off on this. Part of it is you, how you internalize that, and what you choose to believe. It's all in how you believe, what you choose to believe for yourself, right? To be true, how you see yourself. You do know that you can create your own concept of how you see yourself. So you're not off the hook here. I'm going to continue reading what he says. Okay, I'm going to repeat what he just said. So he says, I tried to build my self-esteem because I never had confidence around women. But through all my work on myself, I realized that my small package and my pants played a very important role for my lack of confidence. That's you. That's all you. Now, it could be, your interaction with women. Because sometimes women may play a hard, I think it's hard for women to fake, right? If it was good. You have sex with a woman, and especially if she got her expectation. Because I don't know how you present. Sometimes men can be very misleading. And shit, they kind of overcompensate because they, in their own mind, develop this insecurity based on what they know they have between their legs. The woman don't know this yet. She can't see what you got between your legs until she actually see what you got between your legs, right? So men already have this insecurity about what's in between their legs, and they overcompensate. And sometimes they give this persona like, oh, they're more masculine and they're dominant, and, being hard and all this stuff. And it kind of reels the woman in, right? Makes her attracted, and she develops this expectation. And we know what happens when our expectations are a little bit too high and they're not met. What happens? You are disappointed, right? And some women have a difficult time at hiding that disappointment. So you have sex with the woman, she's expecting one thing, and it's just like, it ain't it. And maybe she doesn't say it, maybe she doesn't, verbally say like, oh, I'm disappointed. But I mean, a person ain't got it. We all know this, right? A person don't have to say things with words for you to hear and see what they're saying, right? Non-verbally. We are smart people. You can pick up on that. She can be completely silent. She can even fake it and moan and fake an orgasm. But you know deep down inside, right? Because especially if she don't come back, or that's the end of that relationship, then you put two and two together and realize, well, damn, I ain't get her. If I had a bigger size, if I was able to please her. But I made a video about it. He saw the video that I made, y'all. I'm going to read the comment. This is a comment that was made on the video that I just made the other day on humiliation in cuckold relationships. So he saw the other video I made on why does size matter, where I did talk about how it's more to it than just the size of the boat. It's so many ways to please a woman, And if you just, every woman is different. I've come across women who it's not so much for them about penetration. They like to be pleased orally. He ain't even mentioned nothing about pleasing a woman in other ways. He's just talking about the size. Now, for me, I know he watches my videos, so his response probably is mostly in part to what he's seen in my videos, and that's just my personal preference. I don't represent all women, though. Yes, I'm a woman, and I represent probably a significant portion of women, but I can't say I speak for all women in terms of what I like. And what I like, is penetration, and a decent size, but no, it ain't got to be fucking king dingling, He says it makes it harder for the man to be confident now because women use the phrase big dick energy. I don't even know what that is. Big dick energy. I mean, it is an energy that a woman can feel, and it does matter. Like, size matters in the sense that it's an energy. Like, that's how a woman can get hooked. They call it digmatized, where it affects a woman's psychology when she has sex with a man who just lays it down, right? And it almost is like, he dominates her in the bedroom, and through that sexual domination in the bedroom, that can translate into during the day. If a man has that power over a woman in that space and time, that can definitely impact her level of submission towards him outside of that bedroom. Right? Because it's almost like he has, owned her in that way. It is what it is. Alright. So he says it just made him a beta male, it being, his small penis size. He says, I have a barely 12 centimeter penis, which is about 4.5 inches. Now, I have my tape measure here, you guys. Yes, I had to go in my drawer and pull out my tape measure because it's so much talk about penis size. And it's so common. I don't know, white men just keep talking about the 4 inches. The 4 is always 4 inches. So I'm like, it helps to really see how big 4 inches is, right? And there we have it. This is 4 inches. This is 4 inches, you guys. Shit is really small when you think about it, yo. I'm like, damn, that's 4 inches? Sometimes we don't really know until we actually have a visual representation of what it is. That's fucking little as shit. Let's see. This is a water bottle. Little over half the size of a water bottle. This is a 16.9 ounce water bottle. Right? But it depends on the girth too, because a person can have, when you think about it, a man can have a 4 inch, this is 4 inches, but he says 4.5. So let's give him a little bit more. 4.5. There we go. What do y'all think? What y'all think? It's a lot of talk about size, but when you think about it, can a woman really take that much? This is 4.5 inches, y'all. Now, you think of it, if it has some girth to it, right? And maybe that's on hard, but even if it was on hard, you could do something with 4.5. I think it's really about the position. If it's not working missionary style, you gotta turn over, flip it around, you know what I'm saying? Hit it from the back. That way, you know, you're at a certain angle where you're able to penetrate, you know, at a certain angle. And then she's a lot more, she's in a position where, yeah, she's able to take, you know what I'm saying, she's able to take it directly in. Sometimes it's difficult when you're missionary. It doesn't work quite well when you have this size penis as in missionary, you know. Sometimes it's really just about the position. But what y'all think? What do y'all think? This is 4.5 inches here. Some women like give oral sex. I could not stick this in my mouth like that. Yo, this shit would be like, I would gag, yo. My mouth is not fucking this deep. It would. I'm not even about to try, because no. Because I'm real. What I put in my face, because I want to give you guys an idea of what 4.5 inches looks like. A lot of men say, oh, I measure my shit. I measure my shit. My shit 8 inches. Seriously? This shit long as fuck. 8 inches? I don't think people really know, yo. You gotta pull out the measure. 8 inches, yo. Who the fuck shit this big? You got some of, oh no, my shit 10 inch. Like 10. Your shit is not this motherfucking big. It's like the size of my damn arm. It's like the size of my fucking arm. Who the fuck shit that damn big? To this 10 inches. Almost the size of my fucking arm right here. It ain't no that goddamn way, yo. You're not telling me. I don't believe it. Men that be brag, oh, I'm shit 10 inches. Nah, your shit is not the length of my arm. Wait, what did you say? That really could work. If you think about a guy with 10 inches, he's really only using 4 inches. Yeah, well, how much of it really is penetrating the woman, though? You think about it. You know. You ask women to measure the inside of their vagina, that shit ain't gonna go that goddamn deep. I mean, it can, of course, if she's already had kids and, you know, that canal has been opened up, then you can go all up in her motherfucking insides, right? But no, we're just talking about the vagina. We're talking about, like, through her freaking cervix and through the birth canal all the way up into her stomach. We just talking about, like, the vagina. The vagina ain't even that fucking deep. So, you need to be realistic, yo. Like, come on now. And this conversation clearly is for adults, you know. Some of y'all can't handle it. He says he barely has 4.5 inches. And he also lacks in girth. He said, it is simply a small penis. All right. I never felt good about it. Combine that with other undesirable traits or not desirable enough masculine traits, and I was destined to not be confident. But see, this is the thing. Why didn't you talk about the traits? You're like so fixated on size. Can we get past size and talk about what are those undesirable traits? He says combine his small penis size with other desirable traits that he has, or not desirable enough masculine traits, and he was destined to not be confident. Now I think about men who have smaller penis than me and how they feel about themselves. One guy mentioned he wants to be treated like he is not a man. I understand him. I was probably the guy that I made a video about, you know, who emailed me, and he clearly said that he didn't want to be referred to as a man. I've never been able to feel like a real man because I believe my size simply eradicated my masculinity or even an attempt to become masculine. Some would say size doesn't matter and anyone can become a real alpha man, but I don't buy in that narrative. I simply understand women and their needs too much. And all the fake work on my confidence never got me anywhere. Okay, you didn't do any work. You didn't do any work on yourself. Because if you really did work, like if you really listen, if you went to a psychologist, I don't know who you went to go see. Maybe you went to go see a life coach or professional counselor. But if you went to a well-trained, a good credentialed psychologist, yo, they would have they would have dug up what it really is, yo. It ain't really about your penis size. It's not about your penis size. There are men with small penises and they're married, yo. And they're having sex and they fucking different women. It's not about your penis size that you lack confidence. You saying you did work on your confidence. You didn't do work on your confidence. And I guarantee you didn't do work on your confidence. And maybe the issue did come up in session about how your lack of confidence, a lower sense of confidence, is linked to your size of your penis. But I'm pretty sure, because most therapists feel uncomfortable talking about sexuality, and I don't know how deep y'all went in talking about your penis size. A lot of therapists will kind of be like, nah. They will kind of work around that, but not really attack that in and of itself, that issue in and of itself. So I don't know if you really did. You said it's fake work because you didn't go there. Because it's not about your penis size. Finally embracing I am who I am and nothing will change. It gave me great sense of freedom. You embrace who you are. Okay. And it gave you a sense of freedom. Freedom from having to fucking be fixated on something that is so minuscule. Pun intended, huh? Alright, society often tells us we can be whoever we want to be. That is simply not the case. Can some guy be alpha with a small penis? Can he? You have to think about what is alpha though. They say alpha men attract a lot of women, and the alpha men are the men who are able to do polygamy and get women to cooperate and engage in polygamy, right? They're the ones that have multiple women, and all the women know about each other, right? Those are the alpha men, but can you say that all those men are well endowed? Is it really the penis size? I don't know. I mean, what about... Because I look at Muslim men as alpha men, right? Some Muslim men anyway. Like, you know, and they're allowed to have multiple wives. I feel like any man who is taking care of his household, right? Who's head of household, that to me is what makes a man alpha. And you are a leader. Like, what makes a man alpha is that it's more about his character and his is his representation in his family, like what he means on a family level, on a familial level, and also who is he in his community. That's what makes a man alpha. You know, does he have any leadership roles in his community, whether it's at church or mosque or community group or whatever he does, you know, as a professor at his university, or what is his role in society, right? And I think the role that he has in society, that is going to determine, okay, is he alpha? Or is he just like a 9-to-5 worker just clocking in, working for somebody else? That feeds into your degree of dominance and your degree of alpha manhood. I wouldn't say men who are in those high positions, high ranking positions, because those high ranking positions, right, they come with a degree of respect, of authority, you know what I'm saying, over people, many people too. Sometimes hundreds of people, thousands, millions of people. Just because a man has that position, would you say every single man that has a high ranking position has a big dick? Are you serious? I don't think so. I mean, I know that to be true. I know that to be true, okay? As a woman. Because I'm attracted to alpha men. You know? Come across alpha men, right? And men in position. We're talking about doctors, lawyers, and can I sit here and tell you that all of them have big ass dicks? No. But I can say it's about the motion of the ocean, how they lay it down, right? And the level of dominance that they express. Not only like outside the bedroom, because that's clear, right? You have to have a degree of dominance to have a high ranking position over a number of people. But it's just the energy, that's that big dick energy, like in the bedroom, yo, that they're dominant. In the bedroom. What does that mean to be dominant in the bedroom? Some people think it's about aggression. I get turned off when I have conversations with men. They think that dominance is about, oh man, flinging me around, throwing me around, and slapping me around. Like, hell no. It has to be done with tastefulness, right? But in the bedroom, I know I have a dominant man because he leads in every aspect, every sense of the word. You know, I don't take off my clothes. He takes them off, you know? Remove my underwear, my clothes, everything. Dominant men, like, it's like alpha men, they take pride in being able to do that. Because it's like they're owning a woman's body in a way. In a good way, you know? They lead in the bedroom. They're in a dominant position in the bedroom. How do you know who's in a dominant position? Is who is doing really the most work when you think about it. You know, you got some men, they of course, they say, oh, well, I like a woman to ride me. Yo, I just got an email. I got an inbox message on a dating site from some guy asked me, he said, oh, can I ask you a question? I was like, oh, here we go. All that kind of ask you a question, shit, you know it's about to be some bullshit. But I was curious to see what he had to say, so I left him a question mark, like, okay. He says, what do you think about pegging? I said, to each his own. Then he goes, oh, I'm glad, you know, that you're open about it, and I see that we have similar interests, and he noticed on my profile I I'm interested in hiking, like the outdoors and stuff, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe we could, you know, link up. Nah, bruh. He got too excited just because I said, you know, to each his own, because I'm that kind of person. Like, listen, if that suits your boat, that suits your boat. That don't mean that we're compatible for each other. I think that's where he missed the piece. Like, asking me what I think about pegging is a much different question than asking would I date a man who is into pegging, right? So you can't do the play on words with me. Like, I'm a master fucking wordsmith. You can't do the play on words with me. So that conversation ended there, and I'm pretty sure he should have gotten the picture, but it's just like, nothing against men who like pegging. You know, if you like being pegged, which is basically a man who just like penetration by a woman. I made a video on that shit too. You like it, you like it. You like what you like. Who am I to tell you what to like and not to like. Yo, your life is your fucking life. You know what I'm saying? But if you're asking me would I date a man like that, like no, I like dominant men. That does not involve anything that has anything to do with me pegging you. No, I want to be fucking pegged, okay? You know what I'm saying? I want to be dominant in every sense of the word. And so that's just not my thing. Everybody has their thing. I don't hate on anybody for them having their thing. That's their thing. I have mine. All right. He got a great sense of freedom by embracing who he is and understanding that nothing will change. Society often tells us we can be whoever we want to be. That is simply not the case. You can't be who you want to be, y'all. You can be who you want to be, man. The thing about, I think, self-esteem, nobody can give you that, though. People can try to do things to stroke your ego, but you're going to be constantly at a deficit, wanting and desiring that level of attention. So it's really superficial confidence if you constantly need someone to stroke your ego. Confidence is being able just to stand on who you are, within who you are, no matter if you have someone stroking your ego or not. Right? If you constantly need somebody like giving you reassurance and validation, is that really confidence? And maybe that's what his therapist did, or whoever he worked with, who supported him through this journey, his struggle that he's dealing with. Maybe that's what they were doing, just stroking his. And a lot of therapists are known for just stroking the ego, and you feel good in the moment. It's like a temporary, like panacea, like a band-aid. You feel good in the moment, but when you walk out the office, like, how does that translate? You know what I'm saying? You're going to constantly need that because that's what your therapist did for you. So now you're expecting other people to do that for you in order to feel good about yourself. Is that true confidence? No, man. You know, we're talking about issues that arise in adulthood, right? Lack of confidence being one of them. That's what I'm saying. It's deeper than the dick size. That shit stem back, to childhood. Confidence is something that needs to be nurtured in the womb. You know what I'm saying? Everything, in my opinion, it starts in the womb. You know what I'm saying? Nurturing that child in the womb. And when they are born, instilling within that. You know what I'm saying? That way they internalize positive belief, perspective about themselves and the world. The first 5 years, most psychologists refer to the term the first 5 years, right, of a child's life. You know, it makes a huge difference, y'all. I don't know what your first 5 years look like. But confidence ain't something you're going to grow overnight, bruh. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care how many years of therapy, it's just, it ain't happening that way. Can some guy be alpha with a small penis? Maybe not. Congrats to him if he achieved that. Can someone with such big problem have a good feeling about his masculinity when he looks at his worm in his pants? Yo, I think he just, you are really exaggerating this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that it's not a problem, but the way you making it that big of a problem, the way you making this that big of a problem, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Like I said, it goes deeper than that. It's just, you apparently have insecurity issues that ain't got nothing to do with that. And that just feeds into your insecurity, right? You know, you say your undesirable traits, That's all you. That's like, yo, we all come in different flavors, different shapes, sizes, all of that, right? You have to accept you for you and see beauty in yourself. No matter what size you are, no matter what deficit you have, disability that you have. And I know this to be true because, listen, where I treat children, adolescents, adults with disabilities. Those disabilities can be innate, they're born with it, genetic, they can be acquired. People who have traumatic brain injury, resulting in neurological problems, neurological deficits, which leads to cognitive deficits and issues with their adaptive functioning. I do evaluations, children, teens, adults who have these disabilities. I also do therapy too, as well, with them. And the same issues come up. It's just like, it's similar, in the sense that people who have a disability, whether it's autism or intellectual disability or traumatic brain injury, no matter, it's like the disability becomes who they are, like they live with the disability for so long. It impacts every facet of their life that it takes a toll on who they are. But then you do have some that have built such a resilience to it. Like, it becomes who they are in a good way, right? So I see some variety because I have a caseload of 12 clients that I see for therapy every week. This is apart from the clients that I do evaluations for. I do like 2 evaluations a day. 2 psych evaluations a day, right? And what I noticed in my caseload of therapy clients is 12 of them. 6 of them actually are in relationships, right? 6 of them not. We've had conversations about this. So it's like half in relationships, half not, right? Of those 6, 3 are in long-standing relationships that they're happily married, happily involved with someone, planning to get married. And they have significant disabilities, significant enough that it definitely impacts their day-to-day functioning, their ability to be able to, sustain a job, have, problems interpersonally with, relating to people. But they're still able to manage that part of their life, right? Where they're able to, relate to a person that they like. So it doesn't mean that just because you have a disability that you just are off the market and no one is going to like you. Though that is a common narrative that I hear, especially within the other 6 that aren't dating or married, right? They're struggling sometimes with that. And it goes down to their self-esteem, which is heavily influenced by their experience with the disability that they have. And of course, how society sees it, it's not, I'm not just saying it's all on them, but it is part them though, because who else is going to take responsibility, right? So they have this issue that makes them different than general population. So of course it limits like their dating pool. It limits, who will be willing to build with them on a personal, interpersonal, intimate level. It just makes it more challenging for them, right? But like I say, how does that make it different than for those who actually are in relationships, So it's just like, it's possible. Anything is possible. And it's really about what you choose to accept and your degree of resiliency for whatever presentation that you have. He's talking about he has less desirable traits. No one is perfect. So I feel like we all have less desirable traits. I'm sure I have less desirable intrinsic and external traits about myself, right? And it is what it is. But when you say you truly, like, you come to accept yourself, have you really come to accept yourself? People can see if a person has low self-esteem, People can see if you're a bubbly person and you're happy. And usually people who are happy, they have other people around them. They tend to attract more people because they're content with their life. And that shit is contagious. Like, who doesn't want to be around someone who is content with their life, who is happy with their life, who is motivated by life to go out and do things and just be and explore and have fun? People are attracted to that. But if you're walking around because, you have been kind of overpowered by your insecurities and you've developed, kind of like a depressive personality in a way, where you've lived this way for so long that it really has taken a toll on your psychological disposition, then yeah, you're not going to attract. You're not going to attract at least what you want, So yeah, you play a role in it. Everyone plays a role in how their life is and what they get in life, right? The outcome that they get in life. You have the power. You play a role in that. Although he knows how much women want bigger and thicker, as a big one is the sign of high masculinity, while small is the sign of low masculinity. It's like, come on, bro, you gotta get past that shit. Your shit work, don't it? It work. Other parts of yourself work. It's other parts, ways to, be sexually satisfied and to sexually satisfy other people than that, That's just like for a woman to be like, oh, well, yeah, men like girls with big butts. Of course, they like women with big butts, yeah. And so a woman, let's say, who doesn't have a big butt, she can't do much about it. Some women get surgery and things like that. I'm not doing that shit. A lot of women choose not to. A lot of women just choose to accept their body for what it is, right? That doesn't mean that I go ball up in a corner and cry because I don't have a fucking big ass badonkadonk. I got a little something back there, but it is what it is, I still attract men though. So I feel like just because, yes, it could be true that in our society, yeah, men are attracted to that, but it doesn't mean that I want to attract men, who aren't attracted to me because I don't have that, right? Or did I say that right? It's not to say that men aren't attracted to me for reasons beyond me having a fucking big ass. Same thing with big boobs, right? So it's just like, one has to really take a deep look within themselves to see what really is a matter. Alright, so he says, how can a man be dominant and full of that big dick energy if he packs something that he is ashamed to look at? All of my life when I played sports and I was showering after the game, I was hiding my thing, uncomfortable that someone might see it. On the other hand, I can imagine how a man with a big one has that pride. He feels like a man, like an alpha. Nah, you kind of glorifying this idea, this illusion that just because a man has a larger size penis, that his life is just a-okay. They have issues too. They get heartbroken. So that's why I'm saying it's something more than your penis size. It has more to do with the way you see the world and how you see this juxtaposition of yourself compared to other men who have something that you lack is the same way. You do that not only in that particular instance, but you do that across the board, with making these comparisons, juxtaposing yourself against other people, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side because there's something that the other side has that you don't have. That's what you call an illusion. That's a false belief that needs to be deconstructed and thrown away. I was showering after the game. I was hiding my thing, uncomfortable that someone might see it. On the other hand, I can imagine how a man with a big one has that pride. He feels like a man, like an alpha. He wants women to see his pride. Does this make any sense? Yeah, it makes sense because, yeah, there are men who kind of showcase themselves and they take pride in the size, you know, they brag about it. But that's just not enough, though. It's not. In fact, like, women are often turned off by men that, like, relish in this whole idea that penis is just this golden thing that a woman is just craving, and oh, just because a man has a big size penis, like, it makes him God. No. That's why I need more women to comment on my videos. A lot of men comment, but y'all need to share my videos with your female audience, your female friends, so that they can offer their perspective, so that we can broaden this conversation. So you'll see that it ain't always about the penis size. Women will tell you, you have a false belief, yo. It's no. You got to reconstruct your belief about what it really is. It's part true what you're saying. Yeah, it has some truth in it, but nah. Also, I realize we get turned on to what we can relate. I can be turned on by observing other real alpha men have passionate sex with hot women. That is why porn-consuming lifestyle comes natural to me. And one thing I realize is that I never even wanted to be with a woman because... Now, that's a whole other revelation right there, bro. You say... And one thing I realized, that I never ever wanted to be with a woman. Bingo. So, listen... You sitting up here fixated on freaking your penis size when you said that you didn't want to be with a woman. So, what is the point? Will your penis size be that much of a factor if you are attracted to men? I don't think so. You think women care that much about penis size? Y'all care more than women do. That's the truth of the matter. Because I deep down was suppressing the truth that I am aware now, and that I am ashamed by my small packaging between my legs. Would be curious to see your opinion. This is an uncomfortable topic and very sensitive. There are many harsh truths we don't want to acknowledge. You had courage to talk about this, and your dust size matters. Yeah, and he go over and make a different comment on that video that I'll read. No, you making it matter more than what it needs to. So, this is the other comment that he left on my Why Does Size Matter So Much video. It's a lot. You really got it with this video. So many truth pills, and I can relate to it 100%. Yes, I was just pretty much speaking the truth, and much of what I shared in that video, I also shared just now here. Best word to describe it is inferior, as that is how I felt all my life, not knowing where is the root cause. Sure, my looks are not either something that pull women, and I never got any, as they say, choosing signals. My physique simply made me not get any attention. But there's something else. Your energy, the way a man sees himself, creates his energy. Lack of confidence with women is the way I see it, almost always related to the problem with the penis size. What do you do for a living? Because that can definitely play a major role in your degree of confidence and your self-concept. You making it about penis size when it could be a lot other stuff. You know, you talk about your physicality, but you know, what are you within normal weight limits? Are you overweight? You know, what's going on? Are you taking care of yourself? How do you take care of yourself? How do you treat yourself? To blame it, I think it's much easier to blame it on penis size. Just like, oh, all right, there's no hope for me. I give up hope on being a man and my masculinity and attracting women because, you know, I was born this way with a little penis. It's much easier, I think, to take that position than it is to really dig deep to see what is feeding into your insecurity. Aside from what's between your legs, like it's much easier to. It's so easy to do that because you can say, oh, I don't have control over it. So if you don't have control of your penis size and you're saying that is a major contributing factor to your sense of inferiority, then you don't have to take responsibility for your inferiority or your sense of inferiority, right? But you know, you gotta take responsibility. You gotta own up to it. The same thing with your confidence. It's like, come on, yo. I mean, I love to research intergender dynamics. This is a new sexual order. Women are emancipated, sexually liberated, and they finally express what they want and no longer fall under the pressure of patriarchy. The world has changed completely in the last 20 years, especially since the rise of social apps, YouTube, internet, connecting us all. This new world let women seek what they really want instead of what society tells them. And they want alpha men, hot, masculine, and dominant men. That is what turns on 99.9% women. And the more, no, that's not true. See, you're watching my videos, right? And I appreciate you watching my videos, but you have to understand that I have a perspective, right? And it is my truth. It is the truth because it is my truth, right? But it doesn't mean that another woman won't have a different perspective. So that's why someone sent me a message talking about, oh, I disagree with you. I want to debate. There's nothing to debate. You can't debate someone's truth. You can't debate someone's perspective because that is their perspective. You can offer your perspective, which I don't keep anyone from sharing their perspective on my videos. My comment section is wide open. You can share your perspective, just do it respectfully, right? To know that that's your perspective, that's your opinion. So yes, I welcome perspective, but debates, it's not about right or wrong. You know, I may speak in a certain way that feels very right with conviction because it is my truth, right? It's just like if you are sure within your belief system, you're going to speak it with conviction because that is your truth. Doesn't mean a person won't have a different perspective. So let's be clear with that. But in terms of, he says 99.9% of women want hot, masculine, dominant men. Some women want submissive men, yo. Some women want and prefer submissive men. Period. And that's their cup of tea. Y'all know what I like. I shouldn't even have to say it, right? And the more masculinity man has, the more he will easily attract women. What makes a man more a man than his penis size? Seriously? Many men would say this is primitive thinking and very superficial, but when they go deeper and try to eliminate all the coping mechanisms, they will realize that size of a man's package is the key element. It is the essence that penetrates into a woman. And if that thing is not a proper size, there's a huge no. Listen, I made a video, does size matter, right? And I talked about penis size, brain size, figuratively speaking, and wallet size, right? Figuratively speaking. Other things matter than penis size. You're saying from a primitive sense? From a primitive sense, what matters is a man being able to provide, which that ties into his wallet size. It's not about a woman gold digging, it's about a woman feeling secure. financially secure, safe, because the women seek safety, right? You have to understand something about a woman's nature. Women seek safety, and women, we are the bearers of life. We have a womb. We are the portal through which life comes through. So we have to protect that portal. And then protecting that portal and protecting the child that could possibly come from that portal, it's important that women aren't just indiscriminately going around having sex with different random men, especially if they're not capable of taking care of themselves, let alone a freaking family. So yes, it matters that a woman is very selective in who she chooses to lie down with and procreate with. And yes, size matters. Wallet size. Brain size, yes, because he has to be smart. You know, he has to, not, doesn't mean he has to have a degree, but yes, he does have to know what it takes to survive in our society, right? So one can say intelligence can be relative depending on what society you live in. And we live in America. This is America. America, you got to have money. America runs on capitalism, right? You got to know the name of the game. In order to survive, you have to have money. You have to have a resource called money to survive, right? That takes a degree of intelligence, of know-how to do so. Gotta get with the program, you know. So other things matter to a woman when it comes to mate selection, other than penis size. Women aren't that vain. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You watch too much fucking porn. That's what it is. He said that he got into this whole porn sexuality thing. Okay, you're watching all this porn and you see those men, those well-endowed penises. That's probably also feeding into your own insecurities, because you're saying that, okay, you live vicariously through those men who are able to please those women, but at the same time, if you know what's between your legs and you're so deeply immersed into that world of porn sexuality where you're seeing these well-endowed men penetrate these women and the women are getting off, and you're thinking about yourself and what you lack, come on, that's going to feed your insecurity. So can you really blame, oh, it's solely based on what's in between my legs, or can you also take responsibility for your own actions to say that part of it is, you know, my obsession with watching porn? Excuse my directness, but I have to be direct, yo, come on. Seriously. When that is your world, porn is just your world. Like, porn is very limited. Honestly, I don't really like porn. But if I had to watch porn, it would be porn that has like a storyline, that is a world. There's a world outside of the sexual act. Because when you just zero it down to just the fucking, like, that's not real life. It's just not real life. And that's, to me, a turnoff. Who does that? Who just, all right, I see a person walk down the street. Oh, you're fine. Oh, I'm carrying my groceries. Oh, I dropped my banana. And then he fucking comes and fucks the brains out of her. That's not fucking, no. Life is much more colorful than a simple encounter of fucking. You get what I'm saying? So you gotta know that, nah, there's more to life than penis size, yo. That's all I'm saying. Men can try to compensate it with financial achievements, resources, and high status, but I think from what I learned is that this sexual inferiority cannot be removed. And that's why they do other things. You gotta tap into, I mean, you gotta know what you like as a man. Like, in terms of, you like to talk about sex, right? So what turns you on sexually as a man? But also understand, like, you don't know much about a woman. You already said that you have issues with getting women. So that clearly tells me that you have limited exposure to women to really know. Cause you ain't really been with that many women. You don't know a woman. We're so different, yo. We're like ice cream. There's so many different flavors of ice cream. To think you know women, to know what turns a woman on or women on, you just don't know. If you think it's just about penis size, you have a very limited understanding of women and what we like. You just don't know. It will behoove you to take the time to get to know. Maybe do some surveys, you know, online, do some online surveys to see. But you gotta know women. See, men don't be knowing, and that's why you losing out, because you don't know. For men think that for me it's all about the penetration. Penetration is cool, it's good and all, but it's deeper than the sex though for me. It's more psychological. A man being able to tap into what really tickles my fancy, and it's really about domination. And with domination, it's not about sexual penetration. See, that's why men, that's the issue that I have with men. I've said this in videos. That is the issue that I have with, they think it's about sex. Oh, and being aggressive. Like, it's not about that. You gotta find out what turns a woman on. I like discipline spankings. I like dominance. You know, a man setting rules and boundaries, and enforcing those things. That to me is fucking sexy. You get what I'm saying? It's different things. Women like different things. You got some women that just like oral sex. They ain't really too much into the penetration. They can do the penetration, but that's not really their thing. Some just like the titillation of a tongue on their clitoris. But for you to think you know women, you clearly don't know women, but you said it, Did you not say women ain't really a thing? That you learn that you're not really attracted to women, so whatever. This has shaped my life, and it's interesting even in my teenage years and early 20s. I'm 32 now. Before I realized on a conscious level things I understand now, I always felt inferior, weak, and beta. I always knew deep down the truth that later through knowledge just has been proven to me over and over again. This might be my last video that I'm going to make related to these men feeling inferior because of their penis size, because I'm not here. I mean, I already expressed my perspective, so my perspective is already out there, right? I feel at this point you're just seeking to get your ego stroked. That ain't helping your confidence though. That's not helping your self-esteem. Self-esteem. If I'm naked in front of the mirror, I would ignore the thing between my legs, and each time my eyes by accident take a look at it, and instantly I feel deep shame with what I see. How could I expect that a woman would lust for it or admire it? This goes for every man that lacks in this department, and I often think about how would I be if I was gifted a big thing between my legs. You wouldn't be no different. There are men with big dicks and they got low self-esteem, and you will just be that guy. I would probably be a completely different person. No, you wouldn't. Powerful and dominant. No, you wouldn't. Because that don't come from that. You really think dominance comes from a big dick? No. And although my physique may not be of an alpha male, I believe the fact... you got men who are short, but they alpha men. It's the energy. You just don't have that energy. That's what they say. Big dick energy is really not so much about like the size of the dick. It's about the energy that can give the illusion to women that a man has a big dick. That's why sometimes women get misled into thinking that. There's this whole thing about the gray gym shorts or the gray sweatpants, right? Being able to see a man's print through the gray sweatpants, right? And men see that. Men see these postings on social media, and they're like, oh, well, I don't have a print, or even if I did, it's not really like that visible compared to like another guy's print. And Yo, don't get sucked up into this vanity of social media. That sounds like what is happening, especially with you being so deeply immersed into this porn sexuality. I would probably be a completely different person, powerful and dominant. And although my physique may not be of an alpha male, I believe the fact I am packing big would outshine all the negatives about my body and looks. That would be so superficial, though. You'll be another one of those guys out there thinking that it's all about, oh, I got a big dick. Oh, I got 10 inches. You'll be another one of these motherfuckers. That's just like, and men also have their version of it too, where women who walk around with these big asses and they think that's all it takes. It's not. I mean, you can capture a person's attention, you know, visibly, but come on, a man of substance will tell you it takes more than the big ass, yo. Men not marrying a woman because she got a big ass. That's so vain. Because I would have a real weapon that elevates me and probably my energy would match that. I bet you women probably think that too, though. Women probably have this same body dysmorphia that they think, you know, very lowly of themselves because of their physique. And they imagine, oh, if only I was shaped like this, if only I had this, it wouldn't be different. I built the walls between me and women a long time ago. I always wondered why. Many years back, I tried tons of therapies, hypnosis, and lots of self-help. But the truth was always in front of me every day and every moment, but I didn't want to see it. And when I finally did, it all made sense. Most men will never admit this, but I won't change the fact that it will shape their lives, and those men with higher status and wealth who pack a worm are from way I see it, usually most frustrated. Sure, they can offer safety, security, and financial stuff to a woman, and that is important too, but they cannot offer sexual satisfaction, and that at the end of, like, that's not right. That's not true. I just already said that. I want to keep repeating myself. But in his mind, he has an idea of what sexual satisfaction means, being equated to having a big penis size and being, or, you know, penis size meaning length and girth and being able to penetrate a woman deeply. That's how he understands sexual satisfaction. But there's many different flavors to the rainbow, and no. You need to go out and do some research, because you're missing a big part of the picture here. And that at the end is the most important, that sex is the force of creation. So that was his second comment. As you guys can see, very lengthy, but that was it. So I'm tired of talking. He just needs to chop it off. Someone says he just needs to chop it off. Oh, exactly. Just chop it off. If you're not going to appreciate what you do have, like, what's the point of even having it, right? What's the point? Give it to a woman who wants a dick. Because it obviously serves you no good, you know. You're not even appreciating it. But I want to hear from you guys. Feel free to leave your comments below. It's not to say I don't empathize with men who feel a sense of insecurity surrounding, you know, their deficit, their lack down there, right? But to make your whole life revolve around that, like, something is wrong. And I think that you're using that as a crutch to hide behind. When, nah, it's so much easier to blame everything, to reduce all of your problems, your insecurity, and your sense of, you know, lower masculinity and manhood to that. Because you feel you don't control, you don't have any, you can't change the size of your penis, so you can't do anything about it. It's just, that's a cop-out. I'm not buying it. But on that note, I will end here. Let me know what you guys think. I think I'm going to go grab me some crab legs today. I found me a new seafood restaurant here in Manhattan. Ooh, Who's that guy over there? That's why I love living in New York City, yo. It's just so vibrant. You just see all kinds of things and just so many beautiful people. Just, I think his energy is perceptive to me talking about him. He just looked over here on the step reading a book, but he's smoking. I don't like people who smoke. I can't deal with the smell of smoke. Cigarette smoke. Marijuana, I can deal with marijuana. Cigarette, but just a look. He looks good. The way he's sitting on the step. Melanated man wearing glasses, reading a book. I see you. Yo, men gotta get back to initiating conversation with the woman. You know, some men haven't lost that air about them. Like, they still do it, but some men, you know, they'll look, just be looking, and they be like, oh, well, why women don't initiate conversation? I don't do all of that. I'm not about to sit up here and be like, be bargaining with a guy. Unless I really like, unless you gotta be fine. I'm saying fine. For me to do that shit, like, but nah, I have like an ego about myself where I just like when men approach me, you know what I'm saying, they express interest in me, just be like, because it's just something about like that dominance, like taking the initiative. That's part of being a dominant man, taking initiative, right, and expressing yourself, saying hi, I like you. And I think, yeah, it's a risk that comes along with, you know, taking initiative, because, yeah, you run the risk of being rejected, but you can't take that personal. I mean, you have to have, like, a strong ego already established within to be able to take initiative. A lot of men don't have that strong ego, right? So they take everything personal. They're so fragile, you know. The slightest sign of rejection, they get upset and curse a woman out. Well, fuck you, dude. Fuck you too, then, bitch. No, you hoe. I don't like you anyway. And you get really upset and just really like fucked up on the inside. Not even like looking at it from a different perspective to understand that, yo, it ain't always about you. The rejection may have nothing to do with you. It just, yo, women might already be dating someone. They may be in a bad mood that day. I said this before, you know, it's different reasons why women reject. Yo, that's why you gotta be smart. That's why I said brain size matters, figuratively speaking, of course. You know, like, it matters. Be smart, intelligent, you know. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for sending me these very interesting topics to discuss. I really appreciate it. Come more with it. I welcome you guys to send emails. I want more diversity though, because it seems like it's sound like the same regurgitated stories, and it's kind of getting boring. So let's come with a different perspective next time. Hit me up. Catch you guys later.